Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, here we are, nearly 3 months since we gavelled ourselves out in March. Nearly 6 months since we last did any real business in this chamber. And what a day this has been. A great deal has happened in the state since then. We have seen our state pull together in ways we probably didn't know it could. We have gone from the epicenter of COVID to a place that people are starting to feel safe again. We worked hard and we worked together to get here. I want to commend everybody who helped weather that storm. Elected officials, first responders, utility workers, grocery store workers, all our essential workers, all our frontline workers, our doctors, our nurses, everybody who helped us get here, that made our daily lives possible. Moms and dads who taught their kids at home while they tried to work at the same time. I want to thank each and every one of you, because you're our heroes. You're our heroes. And we are here because we did it together. We put aside our personal agendas. We put aside our politics. And we did it together. However, despite working together, people suffered. We unfortunately lost people we loved. We lost people we loved and cared about. We saw people get sick. We saw people lose their jobs. We saw people lose their businesses, their livelihoods. On top of this pandemic, we came face to face with our evil past. A past that many people in this state and this chamber live every day. And I'm sorry for that. Like many of you, I was shaken by what happened in Minnesota. I was. Because I'm sure, as all of you, I am proud to be an American. I am proud to live in the best country in the world, where we are allowed to say what we want and feel what we want and support who we want and love who we want. I am proud of that. And to see things like that happen makes me ashamed. I don't know what it's like to be black in America. I don't. That's just a reality. But I want to listen and I want to learn. I reached out to an African American pastor in New Haven to ask, how could I help? Help me understand, help me learn. And he did. And together we put together a police accountability panel on Facebook, because unfortunately we couldn't do anything live. We had the police chief of New Haven. We had the NAACP. We had the Urban League. We had the ACLU. We had the Jewish Federation. Thanks. I'm a crier, sorry. And we heard a lot. We heard a lot. And I learned a lot. What I know is we can and we must do better in this state and this country. I know there are parts of this country that are much worse than we are. I get it. But that doesn't mean that we don't have a lot to learn in Connecticut. Okay? That's the reality. I'll say it. And I know we can lead that battle. As we talked about earlier, we did so many things today to help people in Connecticut, from insulin to telehealth to allowing people to vote absentee ballot during all this time. But now, and for many hours, we've been talking about a police accountability bill. And I was so proud to see the chairman and the ranking members of the Judiciary Committee sit down day in and day out, take time away from their families and their summer and their real jobs, because they are so passionate about this issue. So I thank you. I thank you, Representative Rabimbis. I thank you, Representative Staffstrom, certainly Senator Winfield and Senator Kissel. And the leaders, we met almost daily on this. And I believe we all wanted to make this work. I had faith in it. I did. I had faith in this process. But unfortunately, this became an issue of picking sides. This became an issue of you were either pro-police or pro-minority or pro-fairness or pro-whatever we want to call it. Not only can that not be the case, it must not be the case. We cannot fix problems in this state of this magnitude without doing it together, without saying, I'm the pro-cop guy, I'm the anti-cop guy, you're one or the other, and if you don't, then I don't want to talk to you. Then you're wrong, and we can't do this. No one should believe that all police are bad. I believe in my heart, that the large majority of police are good people. They leave their house every day, knowing they may not see their family again. I know it depends on the town you live in and where you work. There's a higher risk or lower risk, but it's a reality nonetheless, even if you work in the sleepiest town in the state. I wanted so badly to have us here today, no matter how long it took, and all of us be able to vote for a bill that we knew in our heart and soul was going to help this state move forward, help this state heal. I did. And maybe I was naive about that. Maybe I was. I know there is no such thing as a perfect bill. We all know that. We've been doing this long enough. Unfortunately, although I understand and respect the position of people that supported the qualified immunity removal, I didn't agree with it. Because when we make decisions in this state and in this legislature, we make them by balancing the pros and cons. And in this situation, clearly, people who supported the qualified immunity removal thought there were more pros. A lot of us thought there were more cons. The reality of this is, notwithstanding whether the police officer has to pay the insurance and be personally liable, or the town has to now be on the hook, even though they're on the hook now, I've heard all those arguments. The reality is, we are diminishing the ability of the police to do their job. Now, I will say this. I absolutely believe that police need better training, need better education, and certainly need more accountability. I believe that. And I would be willing to vote for a bill that did that. And sleep like a baby and be proud of what we did. Because I think, even though I believe that majority of police officers are good people who believe they're doing the right thing, I believe that some of them aren't. We see it. I mean, forget what happened in tragedy in Minnesota. That's an extreme, that's a criminal case. That has nothing to do with this. That is way beyond any of this. Every day, people are looked at differently and treated differently because of the color of their skin. I get it. And I know it's a real thing. And that should never happen. But we change that by training people and getting rid of people that are doing the wrong thing. That's how we stop it. Not by punishing them and taking away their immunity. Again, I understand that this is a different version, and the liability is not technically on the police officer, but I will tell you this. If this passes, I would not be a police officer in the state of Connecticut without buying my own personal liability insurance. That's my opinion, because I would not feel safe, no matter what the town was going to cover. That's just how I feel about it, and I think that's what you're going to see a lot of. You're going to see people retire. You're going to see people, officers and police departments not being able to hire as best they can now. I'm disappointed. I'm sad. What I really wish is we took this one issue of qualified immunity and sent it to that task force. I have to tell you something. I'm very proud of that task force that we set up. I personally have 2 appointments on that task force. I have a police chief from Milford, Connecticut, and I have an African-American pastor from New Haven. Those 2 people come from completely different places. They have different experiences, and that's why they are great on that committee, just like the speaker's appointments and the other leaders' appointments. Let them study this. There is a reason that amendment was a tie. There is a reason that vote was so close, because people aren't sure. And again, I am not diminishing the seriousness of this problem, but the solution is unclear. The problem is clear. The solution is unclear. And to be here for 3 or 4 weeks in July and try and cobble a bill together that we don't have all the information on is not fair to such an important issue. It is not fair to the people who are being treated unfairly. It is not fair to the police officers. It is not fair to people like George Floyd and his family who lost a life, and everybody in this state who hasn't been treated fairly, and it is not fair to the people of the state of Connecticut. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam.